Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wakelet. I think we called it Riding the Wave. I don't really know what we decided on the final name, but we're going to learn about how to use Wakelet and then what it looks like in the classroom. And today I have a special guest joining me along this Wakelet or Wave ride. Tate, you want to go ahead and
Hey, Stephanie, thanks so much for having me on. Super exciting to be here with all of you. And can't wait to get started and I guess take you through Wakelet and everything we have to offer.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So in the chat, let us know if you have used Wakelet before or if you've never used it before, just so we can kind of get a feel for where the audience is at. If you could just real quick in the chat box, let us know if you love Wakelet and use it every day, or maybe you're new and you've never got on the surfboard before. And while we're waiting for those answers to come in, my name is Stephanie Howe. I'm an instructional technology coordinator in Pickerington Local School District. And I have been using Wakelet. I feel like James reached out to me when they first became like a company back in, I don't even know. It was like 2017, I want to say. So I've been using it a lot. I love using it, especially with like coaching cycles with teachers. I can save all my links real quickly to a tab, and they just keep making amazing updates to Wakelet. So it just keeps getting better. And then my special guest today.
Hey everyone. So yeah, like I was saying, I essentially lead business development at Wakelet. So I lead all of our partnerships with the likes of Google, Microsoft, Adobe, Amazon, to really bring powerful integrations to you. And I'm also overlooking the Wakelet Schools program at the moment. So some really exciting stuff happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of people in the chat that have been using Wakelet. No more bookmarks for me. I love that comment. So true. Although don't look at my bookmarks right now. But I haven't really had to add bookmarks because of Wakelet, which is amazing. We have some new users and people that have never used it. So we're so glad you're joining us. We have Philly who uses Wakelet frequently. So awesome stuff. And so the first thing is, what is Wakelet? So Wakelet is a free platform for educators, and it allows your students to save, organize, present, and share content from across the web. It's also for you as a teacher, so it's not just for your students. And if you go to wakelet.com, that is how you're first going to access Wakelet. Anything else you want to talk about the why or what is Wakelet?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times we get asked, why we created the platform or why the founder, Jamil, created the platform. And essentially, the problem that we were trying to solve is that there wasn't any one tool on the web that let you, the user, get all of those links that like Stephanie was saying, that you probably have on all of your tabs, bookmark into one place and actually organize it and make sense of it. So Wakelet's kind of really trying to make things a lot simpler for you whilst you surf the web, whilst you make sense of the internet and all of the amazing content and resources that are coming out on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. And yeah, I mean, in terms of how the educators or the education community has used it, it's been truly inspiring.
And then we have a question. Is it similar to Parker? I'm not familiar with Parker.
I haven't heard of Parker myself as well. This is the first time I've heard of Parker. So I'll have to look. Oh, Padlet.
Oh, Padlet. Right.
Okay. That's a good question. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that, yeah, we provide the same collaborative functionality, but we're also completely free. So in that sense, no, because the functionality that we provide on top of that collaboration is a lot more extensive and obviously free of cost.
Yeah, so we can kind of talk about some of those similarities and differences. It really depends on your lesson and what the purpose is. but most of the time we probably pick Wakelet over Padlet, just because of some of the features that are offered in Wakelet compared to Padlet. But again, it completely depends on the lesson goal for what is being taught and what standard we're trying to reach for students. All right, so it's super easy. So those of you that have never used Wakelet, it's 3 simple steps is like how I really like to think about it. So first step is what we kind of talked about already. You can bookmark anything. So you can take all of your favorite bookmarks and bookmark them to Wakelet. You can also save different content such as like articles, videos, blogs, tweets, docs, podcasts, and more. So like you can pretty much take all your bookmarks plus more. So like those podcast links or blog posts, and you can embed them into a Wakelet. Also, you can bookmark anything that you find in pretty much 2 clicks. Again, we're teachers, so we want to save time and we want it to be easy and efficient. So right here, I'm on a Wakelet collection. And if I go ahead and I'm going to do a new collection for tonight. And I'm going to call this, what's today's date? I know you guys in the UK do it a little differently, but we're going to go with the American way. Okay, so I'm going to call this 3/22/21 Wakelet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it public so that way everybody can see. Right here, so this is 1 click, and then I can take my presentation and I can add it to Wakelet. And we're going to talk about some faster ways that you can add to Wakelet. This is just one way. So again, plus sign, I just pasted the link. That was the 2nd click. My presentation is slowly coming over. There we go. And you can see this cute little grid view type of layout. It's also kind of in a list view, but you get to see like the visual, which I know Avid just loves. And then I can decide if I want it to be easily reordered if I'm using a ton of material. There's also other ways I can add. So that was a web link. I can also add text. So I could say Wakelet presentation, and I want to bold it so it sticks out. And then I can go ahead and hit done, and I can see that Wakelet presentation, and then my presentation is right underneath it. Also plus sign, you can add images. So if I had an image that was on my computer, I could choose and upload it, or I could add it from my own library. So right here, I can search from Unsplash. Unsplash is a great website with tons of free photos that you can add to your Wakelets. I don't know what will happen if I type in Wakelet on Unsplash. Oh, they can't find any, but here's a cute little wave. So we're going to use that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Unsplash, I'll have to get in touch with their team. They should recognize us in some capacity.
Yeah, since you guys use them.
Exactly.
Also right here, any bookmarks that I've saved to Wakelet already in the past, I can add quickly onto my Wakelet. And then any PDFs I can upload right from my, let's go ahead and add Global GEG. Well, that's an image, so it's not gonna, I don't have any PDFs because I save everything to Drive, but I can go ahead and add my image of Global GEG right onto this. And again, you can see how quickly it is to add a collection very, very quickly. Also over here, I can connect it with Twitter, which is one of my favorite things to do. Before I had AJ, I did a lot of Twitter chats, and now I'm too exhausted. But Twitter, you can simply search a hashtag. So if I search like Global GEG, I can find all of the Twitter posts that mention Global GEG, and I can select them all and add them right onto my Wakelet. And then they all pop in. So again, I love doing this when there's a conference and I want to save all of those tweets that had that conference handle so I can go back and kind of capture what happened during that conference or that event. I'm able to do that very, very quickly. So that is probably one of my favorite features. Also, you can do a video. I could do YouTube and I could search a video right from YouTube. I can add Google Drive. I can add all of these different options. So I'm going to go ahead and add the video that we're doing tonight on here. And right there it is. I can add it in. Google Drive, same thing. I can search my drive and add any files that I might want that way. Also OneDrive. Okay, so many different options that you can do on Wakelet. Again, that was just 2 clicks. So that was step 1, is just adding content. So I'm on the Wakelet site. I am going to this little plus sign. You can find them randomly throughout different posts, and I can just click it, web link, or any of these other options. And don't be afraid to just click and add. Also, if you don't like the media view, that one's probably my favorite. You could do this kind of view. I'm assuming this is probably Abed's favorite view, or you could do like a grid view. I don't really like the grid view though, which is shocking, I know. Or you can do like a mood view.
The mood board view is probably by far one of the most used as well. And just to answer one of the questions that we had earlier, so a lot of you, whilst you're using Padlet, are probably, or those of you who do use Padlet are probably more used to this format. So, like Stephanie's just showcased to you, we do also provide a very similar format, which also looks very decent, I'd say.
Yeah, so many different options and views that you can change this to. I'm going to go back to the media view, but again, that was just right here. Also, right here, you can add a cover image. So I could choose again from that library, or I could upload my image. So I'm just going to, let's go to my presentation. Wait, no, I'm just going to choose from the library right now. And let's do this one. This one looks very nice. Click, and then now I have a cover image for it. So maybe I've seen teachers use the cover image. They're doing like a book journal type of activity with Wakelet, and they'll add that book cover right onto the Wakelet. And then the kids can copy it, or they can work collaboratively on this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And now you can see my final Wakelet board, and I can always go back to edit if I wanted to delete anything or update any links or add more resources. I'm able to do that. Okay. So again, step 1, that 2 clicks, you can add pretty much articles, videos, blog posts, tweets, docs, podcasts, YouTube videos, anything. Plus you can bookmark whatever links you might have. All right. Another thing, this is probably faster than the 2 clicks because you do have to open up that Wakelet collection. So if you go to the Chrome Web Store, and we are going to put the direct link in the chat, and you search Wakelet. So right here it is. You can see I already have it. I'm going to put this in the link though, because you're going to want to have this extension. So now that I have the Wakelet extension, anytime I open up a new tab, Wakelet automatically opens up. Okay, so I can see right here, I've got Wakelet opened up. And this is why I like Wakelet sometimes better than Padlet, because Padlet doesn't have that extension where I can just grab and drop things right onto the Padlet board. Because when I see teachers, they have a ton of tabs open. So you can see the tabs that I currently have open over here on the side. Okay. If I search, I think I called it the date, 3/22/21. Right here's the Wakelet collection I just made. And I'm going to go to, let's just type in Wakelet and see. Oh, there's got to be like some, oh, we could add the extension. Okay, so right here's the extension. If I go back to my open tab, right here is the one with the extension. All I have to do is drag and drop it, and it gets added to my collection, maybe. And so then, oh, it's not wanting to go. In theory, it gets added straight to my collection.
It should, yeah. That's absurd. Yeah, I do apologize. We do apologize. It must be a little bug. We will have it looked at as soon as possible.
This won't work. Maybe. I don't know. Well, it usually works. So over here, I can just drag and drop it right onto my Wakelet collection, and it will get added right onto the different collections that I have. If I have group collections, so those are like where I'm working with different people, again, I can just click and drag it, drop it wherever I want it to go. So these are ones that I maybe worked with other people on, and there's other collaborators. And I might go, oh, this is really good for that ancient civilization Wakelet that we're doing together. I can just drag and drop it. I don't have to actually open up wakelet.com. Again, all I did was click a new tab and it's there. So if I go right here, you can see, I think that one worked. Yep, item saved to collection. Okay, so I don't know what's wrong with that screen. It might just be me. And then also I can click this button right here, and it's going to take all those tabs that I have open, and it's going to create its own Wakelet collection with all the tabs that I have open. So when I'm working with a teacher as an instructional technology coordinator, I have like all these tabs open because we're just like brainstorming all these ideas on different problems that they have in their classroom. So I might have like a research article that helps guide them through missing assignments and some ideas for that. Then we might create like a Google form, a spreadsheet, Google slide, whatever. And then I'm able to take all of those, click that button along the side, and create a collection of all of those different resources that we're working on. And then I can just drag and drop them in the Wakelet. So that, again, is so many less clicks. And then what I do is I go here and I change this to either public or unlisted. And then I hit done and I send this link right to the teacher. So this link right here, I just copy it and send it to the teacher. If I wanted to add them as a collaborator, I could just add them as a collaborator. So that way we can continue the conversation at a later date or later time. So that one has saved me a lot of time when just like brain dumps and kind of thinking out loud like that. Anything else you can think about for the extension?
First of all, before I do go on to the extension, I'd just like to say how impressive it is to see Stephanie's profile. There's just so many amazing collections on there. It's really so nice for us to see all of these collections that, a fellow or an educator has made in such a nice way and to truly enable the use of, Wakelet and in all of its, ways that it can be used. To probably add on the extension, so one of the things that Stephanie obviously showed at the very start was once you do add an item into your bookmarks area, or you do, for example, create a new collection from using your browser extension, you can obviously access those bookmarks from inside of your collection as well. So whilst you're inside of a collection, you can actually click on the little bookmarks area. So yeah, like Stephanie's obviously showing you, you can always drag and drop into the bookmarks area. So it should be pretty straightforward and, very, very intuitive to use for all of you. So please do keep an eye out. And I'd definitely say give it a go, because obviously Stephanie is doing an amazing job actually taking you through everything. But unless you actually give these features a go and have a feel for it yourself, I think you will kind of, only be learning by watching, whilst I really believe that I've seen a lot of educators actually benefit from giving it a 5-minute go and just playing around with the platform.
Yeah, and a lot of times presenters will share their materials in a Wakelet because, again, it's so much easier to maybe share resources and it looks a little bit nicer than a Google Drive folder or something like that. So a lot of presenters will share their material in Wakelet. All right. So I shared a link in the chat. If you guys could all click this link, and you can see here that Abbott is on, and we're going to kind of collaborate together. So right here is our link. Just go ahead and open that up in another tab. You don't need to do anything with it yet, but I just want to make sure everybody has that link. So again, it's in the chat. Just click the link, and then we'll do something with this soon. All right. So the second step is to organize and curate. So you always want to kind of give that information if you're presenting at a PD or if you are helping students learn material and you want it to be organized. Or maybe you're going to do some research on like station rotation and you want to come back to all of those ideas that you found. Wakelet is the place for you. And again, I can go up here to easy reorder, and I might go, oh, this needs to go underneath the video. I'm going to keep all the tweets here, but I did want to bring up my slide deck to the very top. So again, I think it was at the way bottom. Let's see if I can find it. There's all these tweets. There should be 50 tweets. It kind of counts them by, it groups them. Let's see here. Oh, Abbott added an item. I don't know what he added. I'm a little nervous. All right, so here is my presentation. I'm gonna bring it up one more so I can quickly reorder. Oh yeah, happy birthday, Becky. And I can reorder quickly to see the video, my Google Slides, and then I can scroll down again and there's all those tweets. Once you're done, you can hit the done button. And then when it will just auto save. So right here, that extension was at the top, but now it's Becky's birthday. So we can see right here. So again, very easy to reorder, kind of create whatever you're trying to do. Again, we talked earlier about those different settings on the views. And you can change the layout to fit whatever your goal is for that lesson. Anything about organizing or creating?
Yeah, I mean, essentially just picking up a little bit on what you said, a lot of why we've added this additional functionality for you to really add text and add some images as well, like Stephanie's just showcased, is to allow you, the educator, to add some of your personality or some of your, content that you actually create yourself, to provide a little more context. And it sort of allows for that storytelling element inside of a collection, which we think is very important, to allow all of our educators that ability, because it then allows you to express a little bit more personality and perhaps also improve engagement with your classroom and your students, because they get to see a little bit more about what you have to say on the topic. And you could also argue, when they are able to add some text and images, it allows them to actually create and express themselves, which is always very useful for classroom engagement.
Yeah, and so like you can kind of see here, like I made a gamification one. So if I click, all mine kind of have the same look, just because I really do like this look. But maybe I wanted to change it. I just, again, go to that edit, and I might just change that view to like a grid view. And then now when I look at it, I can see more of the different options, or I might go to that mood board, depending on what maybe I'm trying to do with teachers. And then step 3 is that collaborate and share. So again, we shared that link earlier in the chat. If you could just join again, if you haven't yet. And this is probably one of the most powerful ways of using Wakelet, is having collaborators on your Wakelet. So you can see right here, we've got a couple collaborators, and go ahead and just click this plus sign and go ahead and add to this Wakelet. Maybe share a tweet that inspired you today, or an idea or a lesson or a YouTube video that we should all watch. So we're going to kind of see all these different things come in. And right here, I can see who added it and when they added it. So again, very, very nice for when you're collaborating to know, okay, who added this and when did they add it? And is it appropriate or is it not? And so then you can just kind of see, and then I could delete it if I wanted to. I could edit it. Maybe I didn't like the text that they wrote. I could change that text. I could add a description. So I can add more information on to this Wakelet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reload the collection because we have a couple people that added. So right here I can see Abed's listening to my EdTech Buddy, which I just learned that the initials this week. That's probably really bad. But again, such a fun way to collaborate. Now there's another way to collaborate. So that is collaborating in like one Wakelet. So if I'm going to go back to the Wakelet homepage, and over here, you can see all of these different images. Okay, so these are group like spaces. And if I click, I can create a brand new one. And what these kind of have, this is the one that I created for today, but you can kind of see right here, like Megan is one of the teachers I work really closely with. And so we just created Jamboard ideas. And then we put all of her different units for the whole year. And you can see we just add resources while we're on Twitter. So when we're searching on Twitter, we might find a resource that we really, really like. So I'm just going to go right here. And there's this W, so that means Wakelet. And I can just click it. And then I can add it to one of the like joined share boards, or I can go over here and add it right into one of my collections. There's also group collections if I wanted to add it there with those like here, I can share it here. So the one that we made today, there's multiple collaborators on there, so I could share it right there. This one is a little different than the like group board. This one is where I could share this whole like Wakelet collection and you get all of them. And so again, we're organizing all of the different ideas for the year into one kind of place. And so then you can go over and you can kind of see, oh, here is like resources shared by Global GEG. Here's one that me and another teacher made. So we did like group work, vocabulary, and then as we find resources, we just add them in for what she's teaching. So again, great resources here, and I'm going to go ahead and share it. And so right here, you can create a new collection, but we have EdTech resources, blended learning, formative assessment. If you want to share something else, feel free. But during this time, you guys are going to add a resource. So share something maybe that you've done today, like an EdTech resource. So maybe like Moat or using Immersive Reader or something like that. Maybe you did something with like station rotation or blended learning playlists. Maybe you did something with assessment, or maybe you have a whole new category. Go ahead and share a resource or a video or some type of thing that we can all kind of look at and steal for today. Okay, so I'm going to share that in the chat. Do you want to talk more about collaboration in Wakelet while I find some resources?
Yeah, 100%. So, essentially a lot of the functionality that Stephanie's just shown you, especially within a space, collaboration within a space, and even collaboration on Wakelet was really built to give you different levels of control over, how you really interact with this concept of a collaborator on the platform. So within a collection, inside of your home area, on when you just start off creating your first Wakelet collection, you'll essentially go through a process of actually adding in collaborators within that one collection. But like Stephanie just showed, we've also got this concept called the space or a space, and you can actually add collaborators to an entire space. And by doing so, you can allow for them to collaborate on all the collections inside of a space. And this sort of just gives you the ability to really control what sort of a dynamic you want with your collaborators, and just gives you more permissions with, how you can be more creative on different topic areas. If it's just the one collection, obviously, you don't really need to create a space. But if you do want to collaborate on an entire area, so for example, if it's biology resources and there's different topics within that you'd like to collaborate on, you can always create a space on that and then collaborate on all of those resources. But if it's just maybe a collection by itself, or that you don't really need more topics or subdivision of, you could quite simply just do it inside of your home area on your original profile.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of resources. So we've already learned how to do this earlier. And again, I'm going to change some of the views so you can kind of get a feel for what the mood board might look like as we add these different resources. But here you can see I've added one item to each. Let's try to find some assessments. And again, I could add, I'm going to search formative assessments, and I might find like a blog post about it. So maybe I want to look at this one later. I'm going to go ahead and leave that tab open. And I'm going to pull it out so that way I have like a fresh tab list. And then I might go in and I might go, okay, here's a really good presentation that was at ISTE 2018. And I've got 2 tabs open, and I might have more, but I'm going to go ahead and open up my new tab. Over here are the collections. So I can click one of those, the shared ones, and then I can add these both to the formative one by just clicking and dragging. Again, if I wanted to create a brand new one, I could, but I wanted to just drag those to one that was already created. And then these images are from that Unsplash. So you just set it up exactly the same way that you did before. Okay, so again, those 2 ways. I could go to my drive and I could click here and go to share, get shareable link. copy it, and I can add it right on, or I could do it through the extension. So again, super easy to add those resources onto your Wakelet. Okay, so please, please, please start searching your Drive or resources and start to add some resources during this session. Feel free to steal some of the resources that are shared by your PLN in this webinar. So you can go ahead and view resources. Again, you can create a new collection. I'm going to change the view of this one so that way we can get a couple different views. Let's do that one. Okay. And just kind of click around. You can play and don't forget to edit. Add your resources. Please share one of these different topics. We would love to collaborate. Okay. And then now we're going to talk about just some key features. So again, we talked about that collaboration, and there's all these different webinar or tutorials if you need to dig in deeper. But we talked a lot about the collaboration piece. So now we're going to talk about copying. So right here, you might really like this Wakelet. So you can go up. Let me see. Let's go to the one that we were using today. 322. There we go.
So I think we've changed some of the UX, Stephanie, from probably the last time, and this is our fault. We experiment a lot. So if you click on the top left-hand side corner and you activate sharing and just exit, you will see the copy arrive after you click on done, and then you click on yep.
All right, so we'll walk through that again. So edit the cogwheel, turn on sharing. It does have to be turned on. And then the 3 dots, and then copy the collection. And then again, I can rename it. And then I can copy this exact collection, and I can maybe delete the tweets, but keep everything else. Or maybe I'm working on a differentiation type of lesson for students, and I want a high, middle, low. Well, I'm going to start with maybe the middle group and then make a copy of it and maybe add some higher activities for those high students and maybe some more scaffold for those lower students. So again, I'm able to differentiate for my students as I see that need. So that is a great way to be able to copy. Also, I might have like a template that I want my students to use. Trying to think if I have any examples. Like Wakelet did a really cool rookie challenge. I'm trying to think where it might be. Do you remember the name of that challenge exactly?
Yeah, it was the rookie and the pro challenge. So you are right.
I'm trying to think like what I would have named it.
Or maybe if you say Wakelet X Google, because I think that's how it starts, okay. Perhaps.
Oh, let's go to my search. And again, this search is my collection. This one is like I could search other people's collections that are public.
Actually, you could type in rookie challenge on the main.
There it is. I saw it. I saw it. If I could spell. There we go. Okay, so right here, this is a really cool challenge. Is it still going on?
So we've closed it for the moment. It finished.
Okay.
But we will perhaps be getting it open again very soon.
Yeah, so Wakelet paired up with Google for Education, and they had 2 different challenges, so a pro and a rookie. And you just had to go up to the 3 dots and make a copy of this Wakelet. This Wakelet I created, so I'd have to go in the settings. And then they had all of these different templates ready for you to use. So how to copy this template, click the 3 dots, and then it showed you how to do that. So again, if you're teaching, I could see you using these emojis. You could be using text to say like how to copy. Here's directions, step 1, step 2, step 3. And then you can add GIFs right into this. You can add Wakelet collections into it. You could do Google Classroom. So many different ideas. And right here is where the kids could go ahead and insert their evidence or whatever they're trying to explain for the day. Also, they maybe add a YouTube video. So that way students are kind of showing their learning in multiple different formats. And so there was a kind of like a choice board for this challenge, and you only had to do 3 of the 4 tasks. So you got to choose. Again, you could totally make this up for your students to fit whatever you're teaching. And then if I go over here, this is Immersive Reader. And so with Immersive Reader, you can have the Wakelet kind of come alive and read to the students. Let's see if it's going to load. Maybe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, maybe try refreshing and clicking on it.
I'm just having all kinds of issues. There we go. All right, so this is Immersive Reader, and you can see if I hit play.
Waving hand, hey pro. Welcome to the Wakelet Plus Google for Education Showcase Challenge. Copy this template.
Okay, so students can have whatever they might need read aloud to them. You can also go here and they can add, so the text might be larger or smaller. They can change the font if they need a certain type of font. They can also go in here and change the colors if they need a certain theme to help them. Also, they can find all the nouns or all the verbs or whatever they're trying to do, or they could split it up into syllables to help them kind of break down bigger words or multisyllabic words that they need help with. Also, if they need like that line focus to help them kind of zoom in, they're able to have that. Let me turn that off. And then the picture dictionary is probably one of my favorites. If they click, they get this little image of what it looks like, and then they can listen to it. Okay. Also over here, they could choose a language. So maybe I want to know what this word is in Greek.
Εκπαίδευση.
So it's super helpful having all of these tools right into Wakelet. And again, it's just this little book with the little megaphone type of speaker looking thing. And all you have to do is click it and then it will load. And then the kids can use all these different tools to help them read whatever they need to read. And then you can also embed collections. So you can take these different links, add them to a website, add them to maybe your LMS, which is like Canvas or Schoology, and it looks pretty nice. So if you go to like a website, you might see like some of these Wakelets built in. I feel like we were going to do this at one time with Global, but I don't know if we ever actually published it. Do you know, Abid? Abid's not even have his camera on. But you can just publish this right onto a website. So if I'm on Global's website, I can just go in and I can embed it right in. So I'm going to go ahead and do Google Sites. I'll just create a blank new one real quick. And I'm going to go back to my original Wakelet for today. And again, that's because I had a copy. So don't forget when you do copy it, you might want to rename it. Okay, so now that I'm in here, I can go in and I can grab the link. And I can just embed it right onto Google Sites. And then my students could click it and go straight to it. I could also put this link onto Google Classroom, and students can also join by a code if that's easier. You can also invite right from Wakelet if you're already friends with those people. And so now we're going to kind of talk about different ways that teachers can use Wakelet. So classroom newsletters are a huge hit when it comes to Wakelet. When I first met with James back in 2017, he was telling me about this teacher. I think she was like a second grade teacher, and she made all of her classroom newsletters using Wakelet. And so she would just send those to parents, and the parents, I believe, like love them. Like I'm pretty sure she's still doing those. So that could be an idea, collecting resources for maybe research. As you're trying to lesson plan, you can add those different resources. Also, if you're trying to document your PD, which is like a Randall Sampson. So shout out to Randall. He does a lot of like where you can get credit for learning by collecting all of your different learning on a Wakelet and then submit it for grad credit. So again, such a great way to document what you're learning and sharing your story with your board members or your principal. You could use this for evaluations, interactive lessons, and group research with maybe your PLN. Just so you do know, students 13 and over are able to create a Wakelet account. Those students under 13, they will need to use the code and just not sign in. So they can view all of the different Wakelet activities, but they just can't sign into an account. Also right here, just some ways that students could use Wakelet. So maybe that classroom discussion, they could use assignment submissions, project research, assignments, group research, and digital portfolios. So now, just a real quick recap, you're going to first want to sign up, create your first Wakelet, and then share it. Find a colleague that you can share it with. Share it with myself or Abed or any of us on Global GEG, and we would be happy to collaborate with you. So again, you just go to wakelet.com and get started. And so now we are going to kind of collaborate together. So if you go back to our group board, let's see if anybody added some Wakelets. It doesn't look like it. So you still have time to add some of those Wakelets to this board. Don't be shy, and make sure you do add to that board. And real quick, I want to take you through one of the best resources on the Wakelet website. Okay, so I'm going to throw this link into the chat in a second. There we go. And so we have learn.wakelet.com. This is the best place to get some brainstorming ideas for what you want to do with Wakelet. Again, it's free, so sign up. And right here, if you click newsletters, lesson plans, it will take you through some activities and examples to help you really understand how to use Wakelet and use it in effective ways. Oh, Alfonso, I didn't even know he was on here. Look at that. So right here, we've got Alfonso, who's a global GEG leader. So shout out to Alfonso. And you can just see real quick, like, what would this look like? So important dates, they've used emojis and they have different things, class resources, kind of what's happening. So really helpful to know what's going on in the classroom. Lesson plans. So again, if you click, you can kind of see there's the learning goals. Here's the rating list, here's the questions, and that kind of stuff. If you go over to group projects, what a group project might look like. Research. So here's some just ideas on how students could use researching. Assignments. And then portfolios. And then reading lists. Okay, so these are just a few examples. Again, there's so many different creative ideas that you could use. Another great tip I like to use is this search bar up at the top. And I might say, okay, I need to search resources on Wakelet because I have a presentation coming up and I don't know what I'm going to do. And right here, you can see 18 items have been added to this collection. One item, and I might go, oh, this one is by Wakelet. So that might be a really good resource to look at. And then I can click and I can see what has been added to the Wakelet collection. I can also go up here and I might search newsletters. And I can see here, this one has 13 different items. This one has 3, 5. Again, I'm looking at who might have created it to see if there's any educators that I might know from Twitter that might be really helpful. And then I can view their collection and see what an example might look like. And sometimes if they're nice enough, you might be able to copy that collection. So you don't have to completely redo the newsletter. You just have to fix whatever parts you might need to fix. So you have like a working template. Okay, so here's an example. I might also search like we were reading The Outsiders. And there's like all these different Wakelet collections on The Outsiders. One of them had like the books, all the YouTube videos, like you can see all these kids dressed up as the Outsiders. So that could be a really fun activity for my students to do this year. And maybe I want to create like a Wakelet board with that. There was one Wakelet that had like all the audio files for the here it is, I think. Oh, I need access to that. So again, you can see how the teachers might have organized all these different chapters into a Wakelet. So many different ideas. What one is your favorite idea?
Oh, is that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, I personally really find it quite inspiring when teachers use Wakelet to help their students create digital portfolios, because I think what happens from there is kind of this amazing showcase of students expressing themselves in such innovative ways. We've seen it being used across K-12 and higher ed as well, and it's really helped students because they've then been able to showcase quite strongly all of the learning experiences that they've gone through throughout their schooling or throughout their higher ed learning, and that makes for quite powerful transition to their next phase of life, which I think then Wakelets really helped with, and I think that's probably one of the most powerful use cases I've seen personally, and probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, and I also want to go back to the embedding. Let me see. So on here, like I found this Wakelet, and maybe I want to share this with my students or my colleagues. I can share this link, or I could go to the embed code, and I can copy and paste the embed code if you wanted it to look a certain way. So I know some of you have like professional websites where you might want to show off some of your collections. And so you can kind of figure out what you want this to look like. If you want the cover image, if you don't want it, if you want the title, if you don't. And so you can kind of customize this as well. And then you can grab the code and then take it to your website. And then if there's any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Abid, will you throw up any questions that might have popped up that we missed? And so this is what the embed might look like as well.
Just another thing that I want to say really quick is that if any of you who've just joined in for the session or been here throughout the session, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the schools program, please do have a look at the link that I'm going to share. I don't have access to the chat, so I've just sent the schools link to Stephanie and Abid, and hopefully one of you can post it on the comments. But essentially, the schools program will help all of your colleagues and yourself kind of get this wholesome package of Wakelet where end to end we take you through the process of everything that Stephanie's just shown you, but we sort of break it into steps, and we give you a bunch of benefits like special training, and you actually get to choose 5 community leaders from your school who are fast tracked to the community program. And we will help your school then become a Wakelet Showcase school, and we'll help all of your community leaders become Wakelet ambassadors and really give you the resources required to kind of empower all of your teachers and students within your school. So if you are interested in going at it from a schools angle, please do get in touch. You see the apply button already on the schools page. And, just one of the few questions that we get is it's completely free. So like, Stephanie's just clicked on the button and she's just going about doing the application. It's very straightforward. There's no application charge. There's no fee for the program. It's completely free to use. And all that we're trying to do with the program is really provide value back to you and give you an opportunity to really learn and use Wakelet along with all of your teachers from your school. So hopefully I'll see a lot of applications today from all of you.
Yeah, and there's also a Wakelet like ambassador program and that kind of stuff. So I highly suggest like joining the community, diving right into Wakelet, and start to collaborate with others. Right. I did not see any questions. There was a comment though, like, thanks for addressing the over the 13 issue. Too many shares today. Our district is really strict. Yeah, our district is really strict too. And so it is nice that students that are under the 13 can still kind of participate, but it's at like a different level than those 13 or over students.
Exactly. Just to sort of add on what Stephanie said, the 13 unders can sort of get involved by if the teacher sets up the collection and invites them as an anonymous collaborator, and your 13 overs can actually go ahead and create their own accounts on wakelet.com. So it should be fairly seamless in that regard. But very soon, very, very soon, we're going to be coming out with this feature that is going to allow all of your under 13s to also be able to take part. So I'm not going to say too much about it because, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but yeah, keep an eye out.
You can spoil the surprise. Yeah, and I can share like a board of one of my teachers. Let me see if I can find it. We did like a group collaboration on ancient civilization. And the students, it just was nice because they had to explore all these different resources, and it was just on this Wakelet, and they had to like pick 5 different resources from this board and explore more. And then they took notes on what they learned and kind of created like a presentation with it. So again, we just shared the link to Google Classroom, and they just kind of clicked the different resources. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, feel free to reach out to either of us on Twitter or email, and make sure you do kind of apply for that Wakelet school program. And if you guys do have questions, please reach out to us. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we left out.
I think we've got it all covered. I'm just so excited to have, we were planning this for quite some time, and it's so nice to actually be here and speak to all of you. So yeah, really excited to see how you all make the most of Wakelet. And like Stephanie said, if you have any issues, Stephanie's been kind enough to answer them, but you can also get in touch with me on Twitter, or you can just search for the Wakelet handle and get in touch with Wakelet on Twitter, whichever way you'd prefer.
All right, guys, thank you again. We will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.